What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Happy Tuesday, y'all. We got ourselves a Void Titan build, not using the bubble for that Onslaught. Gets us through the Legendary pretty easily, especially if you have some good teammates well in tether like I had. Made this even better, so we were able to keep our supers up consistently since we are making a bunch of orbs, our teammates are making a bunch of orbs, and the ad clear potential of this build is absolutely disgusting because of the exotic we have on with Doom Fang Pauldron. So first off, with the exotic perk, this is a little long. We got the Horns of Doom. Defeating targets with void damage has a chance to give us that escalating damage to void weapons, stacking up to ×4. Defeating targets with void melee grants us super energy, which is super nice. We're going to be using that throwing shield to create volatility, get defeats, so we're going to have that up pretty consistently. Well, Sentinel Shield is activated. Defeating targets with a melee attack recharges the shield throw, which extends the super, so you will see how long we have this super, sometimes clearing out all of the waves, going into the next wave even with just one single super inside of those boss rooms as well. Very good when it gets hectic and there is a bunch of ads next to the boss. You can go up there, clear everything out with ease, and you're gonna have it up the entire time. Do a little damage on the boss, head back to your teammates, and then just keep on repeating that. So this build is super fun and very easy to use in both normal and legendary Onslaught. As for mods that we went with, I went with that nice 100 in resilience as well as 100 in strength, so we can have our shield throw up consistently. I also went with a 70 on the discipline, so we can use that grenade one to give us some volatile rounds. It is very good at keeping the ads at bay, as well as the mods that we have on with our armor as well as our aspects and fragments. Now for me, I'm using heavy ammo finder on this build. You can switch this on and off between this and special ammo depending on the different weapon options that I'm going to give y'all as well. I went with stasis siphon as well as harmonic siphon, so all of our weapons are going to be able to give us orbs of power. We're going to be using those orbs of power for a grenade kickstarter, which will help us to basically put this at 100 in my personal opinion, because the chunk of energy that we get back with this build gives us a lot, because we're going to be using charged up as well. So all of that armor charge and orbs of power are going to give us our grenade back quickly, with causing damage with our powered melee is also going to give us back our grenade. So you will see why being able to throw that shield gives us back our grenade very quick, with it bouncing around on each other, as well as grenade kickstarter. Like I said, charged up gives us an extra little bit of armor charge, with again double arc resistance on our chest piece right here. You could use solar, arc, void, totally depends on what you feel like's hitting hardest inside of the onslaught that you're in. Now I'm using innervation to give us that reduced grenade cooldown on orb pickups, invigoration to give us our melee on those orb pickups, as well as absolution to help us with our shield, melee, and grenades. So all of those orbs that we're creating will help us give us a little positive feedback for our all of our spams with our abilities. Now we're going to be using actually a double reaper on our class ability, so you can see equipping multiple copies increases the potency of those orbs of power, as well as reduces the cooldown for the duration between using the reaper, as well as powerful attractions. So when we throw down our shield, we're going to get all those orbs that are close to us to actually just come straight to us, being able to use our super more often, with creating a bunch of different orbs of power with Reaper, as well as the stasis and harmonic siphon. Now, as for the weapon options, first one I went with is Riptide with that chill clip, with this R-Voss weapon. I don't even know how to say that name, with rewind rounds as well as golden tricorn. Feels super good, those rewind rounds, when you're doing damage on some of those orange and yellow bars. It feels like you can shoot forever, because when the magazine runs out, it refills based on your number of hits, and we're getting that bonus damage based on defeats with our abilities, as well as the weapon gives us a nice chain in that damage increase, allowing us to do even more things with our throwing shield as well as our grenade. With that, I went with a Deterministic Chaos, has that Vexadecimal. Every fourth shot will give us a volatile impact on target, so just helps with this build creating even more volatility. With the other options, I went with Edge Transit for that damage with that Envious Bait and Switch, and then Commemoration as my other option for this slot. Really was keeping this the same. It felt like the best weapon in my opinion for the energy slot right here for that Void synergy. And then instead of Riptide, I had Adderceptor, so this was my other one that I had that I was running. Totally worked just the same in my opinion. Now, as for our artifact, and really nothing too crazy on this, only really using our Overload auto rifle on this with Hail to the Storm, shattering those frozen targets or crystals has increased damage. The crystals really shards of ice that slow and damage targets, as well as Pillar of Ice right here, defeating a target spawns a stasis crystal, so it'll be a little bit of help inside of using your Adderceptor or that Chill Clip Riptide. When we move on to our Sentinel, we're going to be using Sentinel Shield right here, so we're going to have that throwing as well as the ability to just clear ads after ads, turning us into a little Void Black Bull Captain America. Now we're using Towering Barricade with Strafe Lift as well as our Shield Throw. Super important for this build. One, it gives us Overshield, and with our Aspects and Fragments, you will see why that is important. With Vortex Grenade, easily my favorite for the PvE realm. I also like Void Wall, has the potential to do some very good holding off lanes in the Onslaught mode. Now, for me, I went with Controlled Demolitionist, so hitting targets with Void abilities or Volatile Explosions makes them volatile, so you will see this is going absolutely bonkers in the Onslaught mode because of our ability to throw this, as well as our grenade very, very consistently with this build, getting those gigantic explosions with the Onslaught enemies. They all spawn in very tight spots together, as well as funneling towards the ADU together, so having the potential to spread volatility as easily with this as we can is great for that ad clear. Offensive Bulwark is our second one, so while we have an Overshield or inside the Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges faster, and we have increased melee range and damage. Melee final blows extend the duration of the Overshield, so we're able to get that Overshield very, very easily because of our Shield Throw, and then it just builds off of each other without having to do basically anything else. And then when we are actually in our super over here, we're going to have double Shield Throws, which helps us to stay up in that super, like I said, for almost 2 full waves. Now, when we move on to our Fragments, melee final blows start that health regen. Very, very essential for this since we're going to be using our Shield Throw consistently with this build. Next off, we got Echo of Obscurity. Finisher blows grant us that invisibility. Super nice for getting that on some of the enemies, especially the orange and yellow bar enemies, because I feel like when they are getting close to the ADU, when you are just trying to do some damage, you can use that. Go get a res, keep chaining your finishers. It is a little bit of help inside of just the survivability aspect of this build. Defeating targets with our grenades here with instability grants us more volatility on this build for our void weapons, so our deterministic chaos, our commemoration, as well as our auto rifle all getting that volatility, as well as picking up void breaches or orbs of power grant us devour. We're going to be using that nice orb of power consistently on this build with the Reaper as well as the double siphon. We're going to be getting devour up, so having the ability to survive, get us our health back, give us the invisibility, give us even more health regen, give us overshield, create volatility. It is just nuts I say, for the void synergy of the Onslaught potential and volatility here. It is an odd clear machine. We can go to town with our super for round after round after round. Like I said, wave after wave. It is one of the best ad clears that I have found so far. I know our Strand Titan definitely has taken the cake for what is being asked for the most inside of post and stuff, but I'm telling you, throw this bad boy on. We got through our legendary clears without issues. Had some good guardians with me, which helped, of course, but this build works in both normal as well as that legend. So again, I appreciate all you guys for coming back to the channel. It means a lot to me. If you would like to support it, definitely hit that bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this content as well. Plus it does help me out a bunch and the channel. So again, I appreciate all you guys. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.